Alright guys, we're gonna go through my new Arsenal emblem. This is my old one, looked decent. My new one that looks a lot cleaner, I think. We're gonna go through everything on how to make it. Let's start off. I just want to show you a few things. First of all, everything I used is in the tools section. Mainly mainly shapes. I might have used a pattern or two, and then the type for the lettering. I don't believe I used any background, but in case I do, you'll find them easily. Everything is in here. So let's start off by just choosing a random thing, and then show you the way to utilize your buttons and your PS4 remote so that you can easily manipulate them to give you the shapes you want. First and foremost, we'll start off with rotation with the R2 and L2 button. R2 rotates it this way, L2 rotates it this way. Very simple, right? So we're going to use that a lot. And then second, we're going to do the zooming in and zooming out, which is your right analog stick. So if you push it in one direction, push it in the other direction, zooms in, zooms out. Now this is called fixed scaling, and it allows you to manipulate the X and Y axis. Whatever you do to the X axis, you do with the Y axis. It's pretty much fixed. But if you click on the R3 button, now your zooming becomes free scaling. And if you push it to the left, it'll only manipulate the X axis without touching the Y axis, and vice versa. And then if I go up and down, it'll manipulate the Y axis. And that's very important, because you get to a point where you need to manipulate each one of them differently. And then the left analog stick moves it, so positioning. So right now I'm moving it across the X axis without manipulating the Y axis, and then up and down to manipulate the Y axis without manipulating the X axis. And that's important too. So in this tutorial, I'm not actually going to go through them step by step, but I will show you the shapes I used. You'll see them in the very bottom where it says layer. You'll very easily pick them out from the tools, and then you just place them in the exact position that I did. So for example, this triangle, I picked a square, manipulated it into a triangle, and I put it on X position, minus 53. Y is minus 9. The scale is minus 85 by minus 14, and rotation is at 0. And you just leave it there. Pick the correct tool, put it in the exact position, and without actually having to know what you're doing, you'll end up with the same decal as mine, hopefully, if you do everything right. Last but not least, I'm going to talk about opacity, which we're not going to use until the very end, and that's using your R1 and L1 button. So if I press L1, it reduces the opacity and it makes it kind of almost see-through. And we're just going to do that at the very end to kind of just give it a nice shine. Other than that, you should be able to do everything the way it is. I'm sorry, that wasn't the last thing. Actually, we're going to do through coloring as well. Color. You press the triangle button, you choose a color. You have to choose your coloring as well for a few things. I used mainly this color and that color. The two reds of the right side half and the left side half of the Arsenal emblem. And then when you're doing the color gradient, you can manipulate these colors any way you want, but these are the ones I chose. I think that's pretty much it. Hopefully there's nothing else. I apologize if there's something you don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much it actually. Alright, so let's go. Oh, and then of course flipping the actual positioning of if you collect the select button, which would be the let's choose another decal that actually shows. Let's choose this decal. So if you choose a decal like this and you want to flip it, rotate it essentially, flip it on its x-axis, across its x-axis, by pressing the digital stick or the digital what do you call this, select button, the big touchpad, the touchpad. Click the touchpad to flip it. I'm not professional, I apologize. So you click the select pad to flip it, and we're going to do that a couple of times as well. And I think that's pretty much it now. So let's discard this and go through the actual emblem. Alright, so like I said, all I'm showing is the decal on the very bottom. You can select it from the tools, and then you just follow the positioning. So for example, this square, choose the color, and then you're going to put it on X position 99, Y position 3, scaling is 11 by 11, and then rotation is 359. You don't necessarily have to change it to 359. I think a 0 would be fine. I just did it because it looked a little crooked for my eyes, and then ended up looking like that. So This is your first, and then layer by layer, follow them exactly as they are. Do not change the layers because whatever's on the bottom, the first layers are on the bottom, and the top layers are the ones that are later on. They have to stack on top of each other, so the layering is important. Keep them as they are. So we'll just go through them. I'm going to give you a couple of seconds per layer. You can pause the video and go through them one by one. And just like I said, position them the way the way this says, and my positioning on the top bar. You should end up with the emblem like this, hopefully. All right, layer number 2, and so on and so forth. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, I hope the video is clear. I'm recording on my PS4, and it said something about recording in HDR. It might look different on a computer or whatever, so hopefully it looks good enough. It's 40. 1. There's probably a better way to do this section, the tire, but I honestly didn't know any better, so that's the way I did it. And you can leave this part out if you want a white background. I just did it red because I like the color. This is the final one. This is the one where we're messing around with the opacity. So you can see this is just to give it a shine. I'm going to increase the opacity a little bit to show you what I mean. And then I just zoomed it in and I lowered the opacity to kind of give it like that nice like light shining on it effect, almost reflecting off of it. And that's pretty much it. I hope yours looks like mine or better. I'm sure there's a ton of you guys that can make it way better than I am. Like I said, I'm not professional, so I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck, guys.